Video is rolling. Dun, dun, dun. Audio is rolling. And we are live. What's up, Dirty Cones? What? What's up, Mark?
I'm not sure if you guys will see the whole crowd, but usually there's no pause between,
No. I was trying to be, like we're equal stature. So I thought that if I said what's up and then you said what's up, but I didn't tell you the plan, so I apologize. I went left and assumed you'd go right, but that's on me. So I love it though because communication, it's everything. We planned the entire thing. So good afternoon. Well, good morning for you. Good afternoon for me. I'm in the backyard, so those people that are on YouTube get to see the chickens eating, and there's a squirrel in the backyard, and if not, because who wants to look at me all day? I think chickens are much better. They might, but and this leads into kind of what has been a big talk conversation lately is ego. And I don't want to be known. I just want to like help people and then, slink back into the dark and nobody, I get a thank you or, a glass of water or something. But other than that, because I see these people on YouTube or I see people walking around and they want you to know who they are. And back to being a somebody or doing something. And, I'm famous for someone gave me a hug, I mean, it's a beautiful thing and I love it and it's an amazing thing, but I didn't really do anything. I just happened to be getting a hug that, I was just doing my job. So I think there's so many other people that we should know about, that we should talk about, whether they're PJs or whether they're, your everyday American. I mean, kind of like you, just people doing the right thing and living a good life and being good people, and yet nobody knows they exist.
Yeah, which is fine with me. I'm on the same page with you. I think that comes with maturity, to a large degree. I think it comes with maturity. I mean, when you're in high school and looked at as the BMOC, big man on campus, or, the popular guy, whatever. I mean, when you grow out of that phase, when you grow out of, being in the limelight and you allow other people to shine that deserve, some light on them.
Right.
My standing back and letting credit go where credit is due, or just doing something because it's the right thing to do and not accepting, this accolade that says, wow, I'm going to put you on a pedestal because you're awesome. Well, no, you have to do that. Just learn from what I'm trying to do and do it yourself.
Yeah. It's smile and take the paycheck, but like on just smile and take the paycheck. You just keep on moving. There's a really good story about a monk that was walking, and he met this other monk who was enlightened, and he asked him, he's like, what do you do once you've reached enlightenment? And the monk takes off his backpack, stands up very straight, and smiles at him. And the monk then says, well, what do you do once you've reached enlightenment? He puts his pack on and he keeps on walking.
Yeah. I mean, that's simple, but it's an effective message. Just keep going,
I think hard work will get you there.
Hard work, hard study, hard contemplation,
Yep.
anything that effort to, whether it's enlightenment or, self-awareness in any form, that doesn't need to be stroked, if you will. I don't need to be stroked. It's kind of hard sometimes, even as an adult, when your enlightenment is shared but not appreciated. That's a subject that really I used to struggle with, and I still at times struggle with when I'm trying to share something and not listen, and eventually come back to that and say, yeah, here's what we're doing. It's like, well, I told you that 2 years ago. You know, I don't want the accolades necessarily, but the experience that I'm trying to share with you was just ignored for some reason. And I was just talking to another friend in Georgia, same experience. We shared that. I said, look, now it's a matter of, unfortunately, letting it go. You know, I don't want to sing a stupid song. I don't even know it, but just learn to let go. And my daughters are even, Dad, just let it go. Learning my kids, so I'm doing something right with my kids inadvertently, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, there's a time and point to appreciate an accolade where somebody's really, really super appreciative of something you're doing, but day-to-day stuff, Mike, that you do and I try to do, that doesn't deserve necessarily a trophy. That's like, hey, let's just help spread the word, of whatever it is.
It's all about the word. We're just messengers.
Yeah, we won't go what we used to call it for PG's sake, but yeah.
What? All right. So, I want to ask you a question. What do you think about enlightenment? Like, is it possible for Christians? Is it possible for or what does enlightenment mean to you?
Well, I think the word today isn't enlightenment. The term is woke.
Yeah, but that's a fake enlightenment. Yes. Well,
for me personally, enlightenment is learning something or being aware of something that you weren't aware of before. And it could be a multitude of things. It could be life. It could be, you could put it into categories, I guess. But to me, I use the term woke as something that, now you're woke. Not just a race thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Now you understand. So, enlightenment in a religious sense is you come to a point in your life where you understand, you listen to the much bigger picture about life, about love, life, treating others, and spreading, everything that says joy and God, whatever religion you follow, or whatever.
Right.
That type of enlightenment versus enlightenment on the short side, I guess I would relate to being woke. So, yeah, I guess we all have our definitions of what it is, but for me, enlightenment is you've enlightened me on a lot of things. Eva's enlightened me on a lot of things from the Indian, from India
right.
perspective, all that, but I think I've been enlightened pretty much in, our friendship, absolutely, and definitely there's, I think you have to be open and accept it for what it is. It doesn't mean everything you're listening to you have to listen to or accept, but being enlightened means I understand,
I like it. That's probably the nicest explanation. I understand. So when I was younger, because we did comparative religions. I did. I think I told you I did 11 years at a Catholic school, and the priests were perfect. Like they taught me to think and question everything. And they would say, God wants you to question things. Not in a why are you doing this to me, but why. And if you ask the right questions, you'll get the right answers. And they said maybe Jesus was enlightened, maybe this or that. And I was like, ooh, so Christians can be enlightened. And they're like, yeah, because all it is finding peace with yourself and with the planet. And like you said, I understand. If I understand, then I am at peace with myself and with the planet. And I think it's a good so like as far as heaven, I'm shooting for heaven, but I'm happy with purgatory, right? So I'm also shooting for enlightenment, but I'm happy with, am I at peace with myself and with most of the planet? If I can do that, then I'll be pretty happy. So that's kind of my goal in life, is just don't start no shit, won't be no shit, but also to walk through unharming anybody and not being harmed by Yeah.
That's the difference between, I think, being enlightened is I'm now listening. I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
Versus, no, I heard you. You know, I heard you.
I heard you.
You know, I don't. You can't say in the conversation when someone says, "No, I hear you. I'm listening. I hear you." I don't know if they're sincere or not, but when someone's looking down at something or doing something else on the phone, while they're on the phone with me, and I can hear them typing away and doing stuff, I get frustrated. I've hung up on people, coworkers that are literally doing stuff in the background. I'm like, if I don't have your full attention, and it's important to me to tell you this, then hey, let's talk later. You know, and I'm gone. That's the way, really, I used to treat that kind of mentality. But now I realize not everyone thinks the way I do. Not everyone is as passionate, you know, as me in a lot of things, especially work. And you know, that's just the way I've had to come around to say, okay, I'm just gonna have to let it go. So that's where I came from, and I'm like, well, it is what it is.
Well, so check this. So I'm working on this idea, and I think I might told you the number one rule of improv is yes and. Whatever the person says, you agree with it, and then you add and build. Because if you try to stop it, and it'll ruin the thing. So the number one rule of improv is yes and. And so I'm thinking about, like, what about that as a rule for kind of life? Like, yes and. And this could be anything from, I believe in aliens. Yes, okay. I believe in God. Yes, or whatever you want. Whatever their God is, whatever their thought is, yes. And you just say yes to it. Not, like, I mean, no means no, yes. But I mean, like, just in when you tell me things, instead of bringing anything negative into it, instead of anything, it's like yes and, like, what have you got? What more can you do with that? And I feel that that's you. Like, you are yes and the epitome of, because you know, I've never heard you say a negative thought. You know, I mean, we've had deep conversations where maybe you were sad or unhappy about something, but like you don't you keep the faith, and I think that yes and is kind of a thought that we might share. What do you think?
I love it. I haven't put that into a perspective like that, where it's thought provoking to have a conversation with someone, to, instead of speaking and talking back and forth, it's the expectation, right or wrong, whatever they add, is you're listening to me now, and now you're going to respond with something right or wrong, hopefully something, you know, positive on top of that. That tells me you're really involved with my conversation and being engaged with me. Like, you can say, like, if you say, hey, I want to, you know, make this tire. Okay, well, Mike, what kind of tire do you want to make? You know, let's talk about, you know, dune buggy tires. Why are there only 3 psi in a dune buggy tire, but my car has, you know, 40 psi? What, you know, what about, you know, alien technology? I'm like, well, what about it? You know, let's talk about it. Are you talking about space or the oceans or third dimension? What are you talking about? You know, let's go somewhere with this. You know, I mean, I like the idea of engaging where you have to respond and et cetera, et cetera. That's cool.
My religion is love, but I think my religion is also yes and. It's just I've been a little bit happier since I just started trying to just yes and for people. And
imagine playing this game with your kids when they were younger.
Yep.
Because instead of developing yes no answers, nope, that's not how we respond, young Johnny. And I want milk and juice with my breakfast. And, you know, to develop the conversation further, as opposed to, and it's frustrating with kids. What do you want to eat? You know, we have this and that, and hot dogs. What would you like to have?
right. So, but how do you engage or encourage people to, say at a young age, you just remind them like nicely, or what do you think might be a method?
To engage further?
Yeah.
So I just had this conversation with my aunt this morning with my nephew, my brother's son. And we just lost a family friend. So I called her. She was very close to the family friend. So I called to see how she was doing. And we had a nice discussion. And the discussion became more about other family members and engaging. And I told her I just spoke to and texted back and forth for a couple